Hey everybody, we're talking about something very important today. As I'm sure you remember, I talked about the mosque being built in Covington, and there's been huge updates with that. I contacted CAIR, Georgia, CAIR, the Council of American Islamic Relations. The leader told me that he'll let me know when there's going to be a class to educate people about Islam. So as soon as I know about that, I'll let you know, put the word out. Y'all can come with me and learn about this religion of peace. Islam is peace. But I wanted to talk about these armed militia that are walking around the city, apparently, to protest the mosque. And the funny thing is, what strikes me is most conservative Christians always talk about freedom this and freedom that. But now these armed militia, who usually talk about freedom, because they have guns and stuff, they are literally infringing upon the rights of other people to build a house of worship. And what gets me is the fact that it's eerily reminiscent of Nazi Germany, and how the Nazis treated the Jews. It's eerily reminiscent of 1930, 40, 50, 60, 70s and in the South, how white men, militia, walked around with guns, harassed blacks, prevented them from living, from having a church, from voting, from going to the store, from having a community, burning down churches and all this kind of stuff. And it absolutely blows my fucking mind that we're still dealing with this in the South. Not all Muslims are terrorists. Just like there are Christian extremists and terrorists, not all Christians. Why are we holding them accountable for the actions of a few people? And we don't expect them to hold us accountable for the actions of a few Christians, like these people who are patrolling the streets. My Muslim friends know we are not like that. Those are very few people. So I just wanted to touch on that because the reality is these people, these hypocritical fucking people, talk about freedom all the time. And now they are literally blocking someone else's freedoms with their guns and protesting. And they can try to cut it however they want and say they're not being hostile and they're not doing this or that. But let me tell you something. If a group of fucking brown Muslims, because not all Muslims are brown, but I'm saying brown because white people are fucking racist. If a group of brown Muslims showed up with guns to protest the building of a church, the national, not just cops, the National Guard would be called in. The FBI, the CIA, Homeland Security, all these people would just boom, all at once, and they would flip their shit, man. But the minute some white people start walking around with semi-automatic weapons and AR-15s and all this kind of shit, just to protest a building of a holy building, of a sacred place for a group of religious people. And that's a whole other, don't even get me started on that. Like, you talk about the destruction of family, being against gays, and you talk about faith being destroyed in America, and you're literally fighting against other people of faith who would be conservatives and who would share your same views, except for the fact that if they vote conservative, they know their asses are going to be killed and dragged in the streets and kicked out of the country just for being of a different religion. Like, it is so above and beyond any kind of conception I have of Christianity. Sorry, my brain froze. My processors had to catch up before they fucking blew up because how ridiculous this shit is. So, point of the story, Islam is peace. Muslims are there are people of a faithful religion, and just like they have crazy extremists who misinterpret their books, so do Christians. And I know there's somebody watching this and they're saying, well, their book says to kill all the infidel. Well, guess what? So does the fucking Bible. And you can't take somebody's holy text and try to interpret it and think you know what you're talking about, because you're going to read that bullshit and you're going to think they believe that. Just like if a Muslim who didn't know about Christianity read the New Testament, they would see that it says women should not be teachers and should not be over men, that men have to be circumcised, a woman on her period, this is the Old Testament, a woman on her period is in sin, and if a man touches her, he becomes unclean. Why would God give women periods and then deem them sinful and unclean? It does not make sense. Well, we know that because we're Christians. We know that. We know what we believe. But guess what? They don't. So just like when you pick up a Quran and you just run your fingers through and you go, oh, look, this has killed the infidel. They're going to kill us all. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So this is getting out of hand. And I swear to God, if these were black men walking through Newton County, guns would be blazing. It would be the fucking apocalypse of the South, because people would lose their minds. But if it's white men, it's not an issue, and they get the benefit of the doubt, and they can say, oh, we're saying we don't want this in our town, we're protecting our freedoms, all the while infringing upon somebody else's freedom. The Constitution works both ways, buddy. It doesn't work just for Christians. You can be any religion. So you need to get over your bullshit, and you need to realize Jesus said, love your neighbor. Neighbor. He didn't stutter. He didn't say, only if they're white, conservative, Christian, straight men. No, he said, love your neighbor. To the point that the apostles, when they went to somebody's house and food had already been offered up to another god, and in the Old Testament, that would have been sin, he prayed over the food and blessed it, and he ate it anyways. Love your neighbor. So this has been another crazy rant from me. I hope that y'all have enjoyed it. I hope that you share and like and get ready for more stuff coming. So let me know what you think, and keep it if you disagree, that's fine, keep it cordial, but I just ask people to use their brain, because I was one of those people before. I was terrified of Muslims, and I thought like all this stuff about Christianity and gay people and everything, and I have prayed and I've sought God, and I've used the brain that he gave me of logic and reason, and that's how I am where I am today. So God bless all of you. I hope everyone's doing okay, and I will see you next time. Namaste.